This is an official website by a customer of Easy Busy Pets called Cousin Anne. I'm joined today by Anne, who together we're going to be setting up the forms. And there's actually 4 forms. One is a media release, a puppy training one, a daily report card, and a vet release. And we can pick and choose which ones we're going to start with first. So, Anne, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do so. And just let me know if you can't see the screen or something pops up and you can't see what I'm doing.
Okay, we'll do.
So every manager of a pet business in Easy Busy Pets, they have a full dashboard. And on the dashboard, there's a lot of stuff going on here, but there's actually parts of it where you can set up documents. And so clients and pets have forms. Now, when anybody starts off with Easy Busy Pets, they don't have any forms established for the client and pet aside from their initial profiles for themselves and the pets that they add. And we could start with these 2 because that's important. You know, when people sign up to become your customer, they fill out their personal information or whatever information you think is important to be recorded as your customers on the system, as well as the pets. And different businesses do it differently. Trainers, for example, and I know you're a trainer, so that's why I'm mentioning it, might have quite a lot of information. And traditionally, they add it all in the profile, but that's not necessarily required in this system. Maybe if people sign up to become your customer first, maybe they should just quickly add their pets without much detail in there, because they can add additional documents. That is, you can add additional documents to supplement that. And these documents can be very many, and they can, they may or may not be needed for different situations. So you can have it all filed up and ready to go and attached to a pet or a client in the system.
Okay.
Right? So usually what I do is I focus on setting up the profiles first, but since we have these documents, why not set up these docs first? And I'll start from the right to the left, I guess, just for fun. I'll start with the vet release, which is this one right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is digitize a document. And I guess my question to you first is, do you just want it to be per pet? Typically, that's the case.
Yes.
Okay. Because you can have it for the client. Just the client fills out one document that applies to all their pets. So that's another way of doing it. But usually the vet release is a form that's added to each pet, right? And then we call it the veterinary release form or something like that, whatever makes sense. Now, when you're adding a document, nothing here is us setting up how it's constructed, like, what's inside of it. Right now, we're just setting up its name and how it behaves. And there's 3 options. Documents that you don't want people to be able to make changes to after they submitted it, that's what this does. And it's very typical to enable that for a veterinary release form so that they can't go back and make changes and then claim that they never did it that way. They never agreed to that or something like that. Nobody would be able to prove that because the system does log all that stuff anyway. But, just to avoid any hiccups along the proof, path. Visibility. So this is a good one because you might have 50 documents, but maybe only 3 apply to this particular pet. Even pet sitters, if I take them as an example, they can sit dogs and cats, but a lot of them sit chickens and lizards and horses and all those kind of, like, maybe some kind of exotic animal. And so there might be a specific document that a pet needs to be filled out for if it's a bird, right? Why would that be visible if all you do is if most of what you do is dogs, right? Then people should be filling out a bird document if they have a dog. So if you leave it invisible, then you can attach this document in the future to that pet into their profile to be filled out if the time is right, if it's even needed. So you can basically store like a lot of different documents and attach them if they're needed. Other documents like this one, the veterinary release form, it applies for each pet. So I'm actually going to make it visible so that clients can actually fill it out, at their next availability when they see it in their dashboard. So far, so good?
Yep.
The third option has to do with our website builder. If it's a form where people apply for jobs, let's say you're creating a document that you want people to fill out when they're applying for a job with your business. Okay, let's put that form on your website part. right? Because you have a full website with us too. And that show, like if I click this here, that will enable the form to be one of the form options to add to your any page that you have as a widget.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm turning that off because this is a software side document. Add. Now it's an empty form, so it's asking me to add fields. I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm just structuring the system up for you. So you have your veterinary release form, and when it's time to edit the fields, I'll do so. If you want to change how it behaves, you can do that. You can go back. When customers fill it out, there's actually a submissions listing here, and it actually tells you which customers for which pets have filled out this document and who did not. So you can actually know. Yes, you can find these documents in all the profiles of the pets and clients respectively, but you can also see them centralized here in the submissions.
Nice.
So now we have a daily report card. This is probably not a document that should be static. This looks to me like something that should be in the appointments themselves. So we keep it on the side because there's appointment forms, which is a side, that's another area of the system where you add those. Let's go to the third one, puppy training. This is a document that client makes the following representations about dogs. So this looks like sort of like a meet and greet, or it's like an agreement where they sign up for your training and they have to agree to these legal terms, right? I'm just, throwing a bunch of words there, but in general, that's what I'm going to do here. Now, this is probably per pet, isn't it? It's a puppy training program agreement, and it looks to me like each pet needs to be filled out like a separate document for each pet. Okay.
And it would, upon occasion, it would need to be modified as to what training I'm doing, like, and the prices, like those kind of things.
Sure. Now, the prices are not typically kept in the document anymore because they're now in the system, and the system automatically, when it's booked, the prices are reflected. But you can keep it here for now and change the document as things change in the system. You can still update the document in real time.
Oh, in the system?
Sorry?
In the system, I can update this Word doc?
You can, yes, because all the forms are electronic, and you can update the content in real time.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right? So you might want to ask people to re-sign it after you changed any details, of course. They're kind of final with the way we're setting them today. Puppy training program agreement. So that's what I'm going to call the next one. And it really is per pet, so I'm adding it under pet forms. Puppy training, what is that, service agreement or
program agreement?
Program agreement. Once again, they have to agree to it once. It's visible. Well, do all your pups get training or not all of them? Because I know you do other services.
Yeah. If they sign up for I have a 2-week and a 4-week puppy training program. So I'm trying to figure out the question, how to answer.
The agreement is part of like them becoming your customer and being able to be booked for those multiple week.
Correct. Yeah, they need to put down a deposit to hold the time, and they need to. It's non-refundable if they don't.
Correct. So
on the dates and all that stuff.
Yes, and we have many trainers. They have multiple weeks, like 5-week, 6-week programs. They're booked on the system, and it's there's like a waiting list, request waiting list kind of, or it's actually a join waiting list type of system for trainers. It's all there with deposits. This is the documentation that they sign as an agreement to be able to do those kind of bookings, to request to be part of those 5 weeks. They still have to agree to this agreement first, right?
Yes, correct.
And when they book to those bookings, the system will also be set up to ask them whether they've filled this out or not.
Oh, perfect. Great.
Okay. But I don't think training is your only offering. You also do dog walking. And let's say you have a customer that's only doing dog walking, right? Do you want them to also fill this training doc just in case?
That's interesting. I don't have one for just dog walking currently. So I should make one that's specifically for dog walking.
So puppy training program agreement. It's not a website. form. It's a one-time submissible, but you attach it to those who are going to do training. So those who sign up and their intention is to be training, receive training services, you attach it to the pet. I'm not going to make it visible.
Okay, I understood. Okay.
Okay, cool. So I've added that. And again, it's asking me to start creating it. Not going to do it just yet. Veterinary release, puppy training program agreement, how it behaves is different.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one is a media release. So that is probably per customer versus per pet, because there's no reason to,
Correct. And that would be for training or walking. It doesn't.
Exactly. And it's for everybody, all the pets.
Yeah.
So under clients forms, the second one in the system will be media release.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a website form. It's visible. Everyone should sign it and agree to it once.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Fair enough?
Yep.
So here we are. We've set up all the documents. I'm going to mix. Ignore the profiles for now. I'm going to start setting up these documents because we already know exactly what they're going to look like. Let's start with the media form. Let's edit it. Right now it's empty. And the first one is, I do not want myself, my family, or my dog in any videos, or I permit Cousin Anne's Dog Academy. So this is kind of it's kind of a multiple choice. Would you agree?
Yes.
It can't be checked off for both, although they could accidentally check them both on a physical document. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen in electronic form. So, so there's going to be two lines.
Mm-hmm.
One is, I do not want myself, and I permit. So it's going to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you create a custom field inside of a document and you create multiple of them, I've chosen the multiple choice one. So this is going to be really, select. Maybe let's just keep it simple. Selection for now. I'm going to title it as a selection, and I'm going to require clients to fill it out. I know that clients and staff can see it, but I want to make sure only clients can make changes. They can only clients can actually edit this field. So it's one field, it's multiple choice, and it has two options. I do not want myself, my family, or my dog in any video or pictures, or the other radio option, which is I permit Cousin Anne's Dog Academy to take pictures of or videotape my dog for install. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, how did I create this? I just added a field. I added a multiple choice field.
That's cool.
Now, a form can be multiple fields, right? It could be a whole page or two or three. And it's always a combination of these things. So you have your text box, multi-line text box, maybe a birthday, maybe a vaccination document upload into your document.
Yeah,
You might delineate by sections, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they need to fill out your document.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's the first one. And whenever you add a field, it's always going to have a name of the field, its description if you want to describe it. A form is viewed by three different individuals in the system. One's you, the manager, you, the staff, or like one of your staff, or the clients. The client who's filling it out.
Mm-hmm.
Choose whether they're forced to fill out this specific field in the form. So you can have a form with fields that are optional.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I understand. Yep.
And that's just the visibility and editability of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then after that, it really depends on the type of field you chose because you would have different options.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So now we go to the next step, which is I hereby grant, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to do is do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I hereby grant Cousin Anne's Dog Academy's absolute right and permission to use, reuse, publish, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to use a section. I'm actually going to do something else. I'm going to create, no, maybe I will do a section.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I'm going to move this to the top. I hereby grant cousin Anne's Dog Academy the absolute right, and so on and so forth. Images may be included in whole or in part. But how does that work with the document? Because you have, in this case, they're saying they're not granting it. Here saying they do, and then here they are granting you once again, which might contradict them filling this out.
Oh, interesting.
Right? So I'm just wondering if my pet's behavior case information or our images are used in public, state whether you would like a fictitious name used, or you would have no preference on the names used, your pets, your family members. Okay. So it looks like this is a whole.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the forms that I copied. So, there was a template.
I'm just saying. The waive any right that I may have to inspect or approve the finished. So it looks like two parts, like maybe from two different documents, actually.
It could be. That totally possible.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, if permitted, okay? And then I'm going to get rid of this, per se. I hereby waive any right that I may have to inspect or approve. Okay, and then I'm going to put a text box. So a single line text box. And again, we're just building it up, right? We can move things around. E-signature. By entering my first and last name, I agree to all of the above. And I being the client, staff can't fill it out. So I want to make sure that's the case here. Only the client can fill out their name. Okay. All right. So your media release form kind of looks like this. This is the designer.
If permitted. Yeah, that's perfect. That's great.
Right? Yeah. Now, this is not a final product, right? But it's a start. And what we're going to do is it's visible to the client. So we're going to actually, as you know, we can switch to the client view, a test client view to see what it looks like. So client, when they go to their dashboard, they have forms here, for example. We can create a page for all your forms and whatever. Everyone does it kind of differently, but we do offer this kind of variation. This customer has not filled out their media release form, neither have they filled out their veterinary release form. So they're going to actually fill that out, and this is what they have to choose from. If they try to save it, it's not going to let them. They have to agree to something. So if permitted, and then, test person first and last name. Okay. They can't make any changes to it because it's final.
Okay.
That's when it's submitted, and they can take a look at what they filled out and submit you. Because if you go to your manager view, which is what I did, I just switched back forms. Yes, you can go straight to their profile. It's under their profile, but I can also see who submitted it. The customer has submitted it. Who did not? All my other customers. Fair enough?
Yep.
Okay. The next one is puppy training and program agreement. That's this one.
Yes.
All right. This agreement between trainer and client named below is dated. Not needed because when it's filled out, well, traditionally not needed, okay? Everything you're doing here, it's always recommended, of course, that you check with your legal just to make sure it's okay. So I'm just kind of working off best practices. But the system does know exactly when you've filled it out. So these kind of lines are, kind of becoming obsolete because electronically everything's tracked anyway.
Right.
So the first things first, this is the trainer. So that's kind of like the first section in your agreement. Let's edit your agreement. Trainer. Okay. That's the first piece of your document. Let's add the next piece. Dog and breed. So
this client's next.
Oh, client. I'm sorry. It actually knows who the client is, but client, if you want, you can have the client fill it out too.
Yeah, just so it's all on.
If you want to.
Yeah.
So let's do client.
Old thinking. Okay.
And then, so I've created a multi-line text. I don't know if you want it like that. I'm actually going to create a single line text. And client.
Mm-hmm.
And then the description is, please fill out your first and last name. Then enter your address.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it, right? And it's required, right?
Yes.
Staff can't fill it out.
Correct.
So that's them the client will fill that out.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it highlighted client, like that. And I'm going to fix this one, not to say client. There. All right, so far so good. So it's field after field. Let me just go back into there. I saved it, but it took me out. All right, dog breed, it already knows which dog it is, and the breed is in the profile of the dog.
Okay.
Start date, not really sure what that's for.
I guess some people will book way in advance. So I write down the date, because sometimes the document is signed way before.
Do you need to document when their first start date will be for them to agree to your agreement?
Yeah, so it has to do with if they get their deposit back or not. But I guess with this, if it's in the system already knows all this. So I guess in paper form I needed that, but I don't know if I need it in this particular.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of this, and usually they don't keep it. Usually. So it's up to you. In fact, they don't even keep the client entry because it's kind of redundant. It's already, the system knows who's filling it out.
Okay.
It's literally the client, and the document is associated to the client's pet. But it's okay. Some people leave that in and have the client fill it out. But this, I'm not so sure.
Okay. Yeah. I mean that. Thinking about where it is living now, that is kind of unnecessary information. So we don't need that, I guess is what I'm saying.
Now, goals of puppy training, introduction of basic skills to dog.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to create the section. Are these just kind of documentation of goals kind of thing?
Yes, that's your basic kind of 2-week program in general for a puppy to get on the right start for written. Yeah. And then if there's like anything a little more specific, like probably biting, I'll put that in there maybe. Maybe it could be like
let's do that. Let's actually give them an option to add goals.
That's what what would they like, and then what is possible within the 2-week or 4-week. Like in a 2-week program, those are really possible.
Any additional goals?
Yes, yeah, that's good.
And then it's optional, so I'm not making it required. Is there any format that you want them to add? You want to ask them to enter?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, like goal name, goal description, measures of success for that goal.
Oh, interesting.
Random thought. I don't do this.
Yeah, that's interesting because I just now I'm off the phone texting with someone who's like, well, how do I know if my puppy will be good when it comes back? So this is actually a good thing that you're pointing to, because this way I can describe how you will.
Right.
Like, this will happen in the 2-week period.
Exactly.
And this is how I know, because I've done it. So this
because they told you their measurement of success.
Yeah.
And it's optional. So if there's anything extra, that's how they'll do it.
Right.
Now the next stuff. So this I'm going to add as a section. So it's a field called section. Okay. And then the next field will be checkboxes.
Mm-hmm.
Checkboxes are not multiple choice. They are when you can check off a bunch of stuff, not just one out of the options. So it's required, I guess it's required.
Yes.
They can check off a whole bunch of them. I'm going to make it vertical like that. And and you know, I don't think you need these kind of
no, not in this world.
not in the electronic world here. So I'm just gonna remove all that.
Thank you.
There. That's what it looks like.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's part of the form.
Perfect. Wow, that's great.
And then we come down here. So now we come to the terms. Okay, the rest of the terms essentially. So we're going to create a bunch of sections of these things.
Okay.
Let's go into it. What you're looking at is custom forms and fields 1.0. The user experience is probably going to change this coming year, but
what do you mean?
It's going to be interesting. Let's put it that way.
Specifically to your
to this technology, yeah, like the user experience on creating forms and how they look, and anyway,
specifically to your product or to just specifically to the easy
busy pets,
or to every kind of technologies that people forms. Okay, got you. All right, got it.
Yeah, it's taken a few years to make it to mature it, and now it's all about experience. So we have compensation.
I like the way you phrased that. That was good. I like that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
The description of R&D. Very good.
Now, deposit. Client agrees to pay trainer a non-refundable deposit of X and Y. Of course, we can modify these afterwards. And in fact, you can say that as described when you're booking versus, you know, the nominal amount. Trainer will transfer dog for a negotiable fee depending on the distance of desired. And payment can be made via, right? So you can totally use all these external payment systems, but know that you have the internal integrated payment acceptance through Easy Busy Pets, which is credit cards, you know, like MasterCard, Visa, American Express, Discover, and also bank transfer and cash. So up to you how you wanted to do this. Do you want to keep these in the mix or keep it simple?
Well, let's try and keep it simple and see what people say.
All right.
Yeah.
So payment can be made via cash, check, and I guess I'll just put credit cards, bank transfer, that's ACH, cash, or check, and that's all through the system.
Oh, okay. All of those options?
Yes. MasterCard, it's a big C here. Yeah. Visa, Amex, JCB, Discover, and so on.
Cool. Wells Fargo.
Quite a bunch. Right? So there's that. And then we'll do this section. And some people have these as check marks, like check boxes. It's probably not like that's gone out of style. Mainly because you have the e-signature at the end anyway. You'll see.
Okay.
Not that you have the checkbox in any way, but see how you have a signature at the end?
Yes.
You're going to be an e-signature.
Yes. Okay.
That's based on that. Client's assumption of risk. And as you reread this through the system, you'll be able to parse it and decide whether you can keep certain things in order.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as I was this. I'm like, not quite as long as the Apple disclosure or any of those, but still.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It did like 3 pages, right?
I'm not agreeing with this stuff. Now, regarding this renter's insurance policy, is it?
That is actually more if I'm training on site with the client. So actually, that's sort of when I come and do the 2-hour follow-up in their home. I just have to make sure they have insurance. It's not for the training program per se, for when I do a 2-hour implementation in home once puppy has been with me for 2 weeks.
Right. So is that okay as a description? If training on site with the client, a renter's insurance for your home is required, but I'm not making it required if that would never be the case. So I'm just kind of leaving it optional. Or do you want them to fill it out no matter what?
I think they should fill it. Actually, it shouldn't be optional because sometimes they're like, oh no, we don't need it to follow up. And then sometimes they're like, okay, yes.
Well, why don't I do this? Every time they make a booking, this, I'm going to enable it, and it's going to show right under their name in their request. Renter's insurance default is not provided. You're going to know. And then you can accept or decline, because if you don't see a provided rental insurance policy, you can decline and tell them why, because you literally see it under their name.
Oh, okay, great.
That's what this field does. You see, you have like what 6 documents in the system. And you have all kinds of pieces of information. Each field is data. Pick and choose what's going to show in the appointment up front. It's also going to be in the documents. You can click on the name and find the form and find the piece of information. But you can pop up right away.
We're okay. Thank you.
Make sense?
Yep.
So the default is not provided. Okay. I hope you're okay with that. That's just my recommendation.
Sure. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So the next one will be another section here under, I don't know if that's a real termination, legal provisions. Food. Oops, chose the wrong one.
So all of these are sections because it's legal, because it's just a bunch of words, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Software.
You know what I mean. I think you know what I mean.
A lot of people don't necessarily do that. They might choose a checkbox, and it still looks like that. But then people check it off that they read it, and you can make it required. But there's no point to that. Well, it has, the best practice is that there's no point to that based on what I'm hearing from customers, because anyway they're signing at the end.
Right.
So why go through 11 checkbox?
Right. Yeah. No, that would I'd be like, what?
It drives people crazy.
Yeah.
From what I hear. So instead, they just move to, hey, okay. By the way, do you want to be able to sign it too, or just the client?
I would like to sign it.
Okay. So client e-signature.
Now can they print this all out on their own from their side?
Yep. When you view the form, because right now we're in the editor mode. When you view the form filled out, you can print it.
Oh,
There's
cool.
a into PDF or something.
Mhm.
By entering my first and last name, I agree to all of the above. Required. The next one is, what do you want to call it, like manager signature or something like that? Or actually, it would have your name on it, wouldn't it? Trainer NY, Kate's e-signature. NK Yates, sorry.
That's okay.
I switched the K and Y on you.
No problem.
E-signature.
Yeah, the only reason I have it Ann K. Yates is because I've already got it saved somewhere on a PDF, like on a PDF signature that way. And I'm like, that's fine.
For clients and staff, they can see it, but they can't edit it. It's just you.
Oh, actually, that's interesting because it's actually not a signature, is it, in here?
It's an e-signature, which is by definition when you type in your first and last name.
But it's not like on a PDF where you sign it.
No, you mean like the scripting?
Yeah.
It's not that kind of
But
field.
it could just be Ann Yates. That's fine. It doesn't need to be Ann K.
But it wouldn't be you typing it in. Are you okay with that? Like they would be.
Yeah, that's fine.
You typing it in. You sure?
Actually, you know what? Leave it the way it is because I think at the beginning I called myself Ann K. Yates. Let's just leave it the way it is.
So I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back into it though. All right. So at the end of it, it's going to have your name in there. It's just.
Oh, okay. Already done. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, good. Defaulted.
I'm sorry. It should actually say trainer because all the other stuff is.
Of course, you're right.
Using that word in the document. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
So let's see what this looks like on the custom review.
Okay. Cool.
So the customer goes to their form and they're like, oh, where is it? Oh, you didn't attach it to them. Okay, so let's attach it to them. Okay. I swear I didn't do that on purpose. That's surprising.
Okay, but that's good.
I'm going to go to the client here, or the pet actually. And what was it? Was it Hugo? Who was the test pet?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. I don't know where to go.
All right, so this is his first document, is his profile. We skipped that today. We're just gonna go. So I'm going to attach the form. That's the only one that's not showing right now for him. So I'm going to attach it just for him. And now I can fill it out, but so can he. So this is me. Like I can update the form as the head trainer. I can fill whatever I want out.
Okay.
The system will know, by the way, that it was me who filled whatever out. That's the name. I'm not going to change it though. It's up to the pet owner to fill that out, right? So let's view it as a pet owner. Forms. So the pet owner now sees it, right? Because we attached it to Hugo. See? Let's take a look. So that's, there's a lot of entries here that are information required. Information required. So update the form. Please fill out your first and last name, then enter your address. So test customer, fake address, etc. Right? Please enter any additional goals. Fine. Not jumping on people. Description: he jumps on people. Success: doesn't jump on people.
Perfect. That's a tricky one when dogs are cute. I got it.
2 weeks.
That's unusual for a puppy. People will be like, "Oh my God, your dog is so cute!" And then,
Exactly.
and they leave, and the dog's like, "Whoa."
Now, there's a few options that they can ask. These are the following representations or whatever. They read all this stuff. Renter's insurance policy not provided, and then test person is their client signature. Then they save it. Submitted. Okay. You're probably going to get a notification right now that it's been submitted. Now there's a date and time for that as well. So
Cool.
See how that works? And these are what's filled out. Everything's now filled out. All the items. the fact that there's no renter's policy or whatever. All right.
I did get one, and a submission of media release form.
Correct. Now let's book it as a client, because I want you to see something here. Let's book a dog training this way. Just for the heck of it. It doesn't go through your steps, but I just want you to see how the renter's insurance, your location, but if it was an option for them to fill in their address, we're just doing an example here. And the example is that they're going to see this too. So they being you, the manager. So right now with the customer making a booking, their renter's insurance policy fact that they didn't fill it out, that it's not provided, you're going to see that. And if they're asking for it to be in your home, if they're asking for it to be in their home, right? So request. You see, renter's insurance policy is not provided. And if this is a request for training in their home, you declare it and you tell them why.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's cool.
Groomers use it for, hey, what's the breed and size, and are they asking for the right service? Pet owners are checking for a meet and greet, whether a meet and greet was completed or something like that. There's all kinds of variations, and this is just one way of doing it.
Cool.
Now we have other forms, and today we're just going to stick to these three. You and I are going to get together outside of this group training, which is being recorded, by the way. I hope that's okay.
Oh yeah.
And we'll finish it up and finesse it. But the purpose of today is just to show you how to create this stuff.
Yeah, I just realized I discussed the South Park. I don't know if that's a kosher.
No, don't worry.
All right.
We'll remove that, but we'll edit it out. Hey, everybody, who doesn't like South Park?
I don't know. If they don't, you gotta wonder. So.
All right. So, let's see here. Veterinary release form. I didn't click on the right place. So I want to edit the veterinary release form, and let's start creating it. Now, I've seen a lot of these. Okay, they range in, but they do have similar kind of. Where you define the veterinarian, you define your emergency veterinarian, you also define potentially, you being the client, define how much money you wish for the pet business manager to be able to spend on the pet, emergency. I'm not sure if I see that here, but I'm just giving you a heads up. And this is very typical of an example document. And so what I'll do is, this looks like this is a veterinarian. This is a document for you to show the veterinarian.
Yes.
That they can work on the pet basically. So the customer's filling the following out. They're saying, attention. Was it all in caps? I think it was all in caps. That's what it was. Name required. Okay, so that's the customer. Attention, name of client's veterinarian. I hereby authorize so-and-so. Okay. It's going to be a text. So I hereby authorize. Actually, that's going to be a checkbox. It's just easier. There's different ways of doing this, but you'll see. I hereby authorize Ann Yates, Cousin Ann's Dog Academy, to bring my pets to your veterinary hospital. Okay, and then it's a checkbox. See that? It's a checkbox. It's going to be, and the staff can't check it. It has to be the customer who does it. In fact, the attention as well. So staff, we can make it the whole form invisible to them, but why not have them see it? Because they might be the ones who are bringing this form to the veterinarian. So they should still see this stuff, because they can see a form and only part of it, right? Or edit only part of it, just by what you're seeing here in terms of what you can control each field to do. But it's important that you keep those fine-tuned details when you're designing this thing. And then to bring my pets to your veterinary hospital, and then name a veterinary hospital. And then, so therefore, let's add a comma, just like in the document. And then we're going to add a text box called, name of veterinary hospital. That look right so far?
Yeah.
Yes. Required.
Yep.
Staff can't fill it out. Okay. And the next one will be at. Oh, okay. No problem. So it's going to be at as a title, and then these details are needed. Required. Staff can't fill it out. Right? And then by signing this, I assume all the financial I authorize. So this is also a like text box by the looks of it. So let's just, I authorize, darn, doesn't fit in the title. I authorize my dog trainer. By signing this, I assume, oh, I'm going to keep this for later. You'll see why. If the above veterinarian, so it's kind of.
Oh, I understand what you're going to do. Okay, yep.
Yeah, we're going to put that in the e-signature.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, they should fill out what this clause is supposed to talk about in the first place. Seems like it has two parts to it that don't really match. So
Okay.
to the following, or the nearest emergency vet clinic which can assist my pet in receiving. Not too much space. We'll have to increase the space, but all the nearest emergency vet clinic which can assist my pet. Okay. And then by signing this as part of the e-signature. So e-signature. All right. By entering my first and last name, I assume all financial responsibility upon my return for payment of all services rendered and agree to the above. Required. Not by staff, though. Okay. And really, this is not necessary because it's per pet being signed and it belongs to that pet's profile. So it literally belongs under their name. It doesn't get assigned to a different pet or anything like that.
But if you printed it out to take to the vet, would you need that information to be on?
Yeah, you're right, actually. You are right. So let's add the pet. I was just thinking that when I said that. So pet name. Do you need the breed?
In this specific situation, I understand what you were saying in the other situations, but in this one, I think since this is really.
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right here. Pet name required. Dog, cat, breed.
Oh, it could just be dog, actually.
Okay.
I don't have
breed. Breed is breed.
Yeah.
And what's the third one? Medical conditions. Medical conditions are typically in the profile of the pet. Or in the appointment itself, if you want them to fill it out there when they're making a booking.
Would that carry over
the
if we were taking it to the vet?
Yeah, but for the purposes of this printout, exactly. I was just going to say that you need it there as well, just in case. Now let's see what that looks like. First, let's fill it out as a customer. So to the customer view, I'm going to go to their forms. Here's the veterinary release. It hasn't been submitted, so let's submit it. Attention, Mr. Doctor, right? I hereby authorize fake vet hospital, the name, and fake address, okay, and so on and so forth, right? So just, test person, okay, the pet's name is Hugo, breed is golden, and the medical conditions are happy-go-lucky. Okay, save. That's the document.
I think, sorry to, I think in the, where it says, if the above veterinarian is not available, I think I do have a vet around the corner from where I think I filled that information out. So they know where I'll be taking their animal if their vet is not available.
We can default the secondary address to the one that you want, but maybe they might update it to their preferred secondary. Would that make sense? Or do you want it actually to define that you're going to take them to that other?
I want it to define that I'm going to take them to that one if their vet's not ready.
Okay. Okay. We'll update that right now. But just for the purposes of printout, some pages in our system.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. Some pages on our system, they do have literally the print button. It just depends, like the profile of the pet, for example, there's a print. Or if people are creating like a kennel card, which is what kennels use, they paste it on the cages or something. If the form or document doesn't have the print option, you press Control P, and it hides everything. And just we actually designed it this way, like Control P, and it just shows the relevant stuff for it to be printable. And so I can print it on my printer or save as PDF, for example.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to save that, I don't know, in my downloads, I suppose. And see what it looks like. Okay. Okay, let's fix that document under forms here. So I wonder, here's what we're going to do. Actually, I want to keep it this way because I'm going to make it so the clients can't change it, but it looks like it's been entered by somebody. So there's different ways you can do this, but I think this is pretty tasteful because it does look like it's been filled out nonetheless. What's the address?
Yeah. I think I have it on that paper, but.
Is it on the page?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sorry, I don't see it here.
No?
No.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, you know what? I sent you the wrong one. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Anyway, here, I have the address.
Sorry?
I have the address.
Okay, go for it. I'll type it in.
One more light. Hold on. Okay. Where did it go? 240. Oh, I guess you need the name. Manhattan Veterinarian Group.
Manhattan? How do you spell it?
MANHATTAN.
Oh, Manhattan. Okay.
Veterinarian Group. That's the name. Sorry.
That's okay.
So. And then the address is
Address, yes. Do you have the address?
Oh, the 240 doesn't go in front of Manhattan. So yeah, okay. Yeah, and then the address is 240 East 80th, East 80.
Sorry, can you say that one more time? 240
East 80.
80
Street.
Okay. And what else is it asking for? Phone number.
212-988-1000.
1000.
Yeah.
All right. So now it's going to default it. and it'll show appropriately after the fact. So we did 3 documents. And this belongs in the report card for training, I believe, correct?
Or pet sitting, but yeah.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave this area for now. We're gonna go back to your dashboard, and we're gonna go to services called appointment forms, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now you have 3 categories of your business, each of which has services within them. I'm gonna start with the dog training one.
Okay.
When you're gonna run your dog training appointment, first it gets booked, then it gets accepted or declined, and then it gets run by you, right? Mm-hmm. So there's custom fields that you can add here that can take part in the booking experience and or the actual running of the job. So what I'm going to do is add a section called appointment notes, maybe, or what would you like to call it? Appointment events, or let's take a look at this. What's it called here? Report card. Even better, report card. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All clients can see that. And actually, I'm going to put a little description.
Sure.
We filled out during the appointment, the training. Save. Now I'm going to add 3 multi-line text boxes, because really that's what this stuff is: activities, feeding, and comments.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the activities. Clients cannot fill it out, but they can view it. Mm-hmm. Staff can, and you can.
Mm-hmm.
Activities. I have a really bad memory. What is it?
Feeding. Feeding.
Comments. So let's do that. Multi-line text. Feeding.
Yeah, that would be more like if I was training or pet sitting, not necessarily walking.
Comments. Okay. So now they're seeing whatever you're filling out as you're doing the job. All you have to do is just run it.
Oh.
So let's just book something on your side real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's book a training. Let's just book something now. Let's find Hugo. Is it Hugo? Yes, it's Hugo. All right, let's book him. This stuff is available to you. That's why you can actually edit it. It's you're the manager running this job. Right now, there's nothing filled out.
Mm-hmm.
So the client can't see anything. Let's check in. Let's start the job. Again, we're fast tracking for anybody, of course, who's seeing this and doesn't know what I'm doing. We just quickly created a job here so that and by the way, remember renter's insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we're running the appointment. We checked in. We're going to update it and activities. So Hugo learned how to stop jumping halfway up. Feeding, I gave him a steak. Once he loved his steak. All right, and maybe at 10:45 p.m. he ate a brownie. Is happy, something like that.
Right.
And you're updating. You're literally just filling stuff out as you do the job, and
that's cool.
They're seeing these updates, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can share it. You don't have to wait for them to get it. You can share it, and you're also the manager and the client in this case. That's why you're seeing what you're seeing.
Oh,
so
got you.
To the client, and they're going to see these updates. But let's fast track. Let's go to the client view of that same appointment. What are they seeing? Like, you're able to update the stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they're looking at their appointment, which is this one, it's in progress. They're seeing your updates as you go along.
Mm.
You don't have to share it with them for them to go in and check.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's go and get rid of this thing. I don't know why it's there. So let's take out the info card for the veterinary form, the setting for the info card. So veterinary form, it has a bunch of fields, and I don't remember which one. It's this one.
What is that one?
this one. It has info card enabled.
Oh.
Okay. I can tell by the icons.
Oh, okay.
All right. If I go back to that appointment, I think moving forward it applies. Nope, it's gone. Okay, good. So now it's nice and clean.
Mm-hmm.
Just the one information I want to show. If I wanted to, I can go to Hugo as the manager of the business, and I can look at his first form, or I can observe his other two forms. See, they're all here. I have to click them to find out, certain information. Maybe that's not what you want. Maybe you want this stuff up top. Make sense?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that pretty much concludes, how one sets up forms.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome. I've shown a little bit for the appointments. I've done a little bit for the clients and pets. When you and I next meet, we'll quickly set up your clients and pets profiles.
Okay.
Which you don't have to have all this stuff kind of filled in there in line, and it gives a customer an easy experience to first sign up quickly, become your customer, put in the basic, most fundamental pieces of information, and then as they transition to becoming a more established customer, if that's the case, even, they start filling stuff out that's more applicable to what they're going to do with you.
Yes. Yeah, it's like when I go onto a website, I'm like, I gotta fill all this, stuff out.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Then I leave usually, and I don't want to do people to do that. I just want like the name of the dog, and what you want me to do.
Correct. Now,
then we move on.
There are businesses that, they put in a lot of stuff there to scare all the customers except the ones who are serious about becoming their customer. You know what I mean? It's kind of like their test to only get the ones that are serious about moving forward, something around those lines. But that's
initiation. It's when you go to college and you have this.
You got to take an exam.
Hazing. It's the hazing week.
But, I don't see that practiced very much. Take it or leave it. And so that's that.
Makes sense too, but I go.
So yeah, that concludes the training for the forms, and you and I will meet again to continue the setup, which at this point is not much, especially now that you know how to do it. Mm-hmm. I suspect you'll find yourself making a lot of tweaks on your side.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate all this. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.